G'day and welcome back for some more Survival Impossible. I've done a couple of little upgrades to the pufferfish here. I've done something that I probably should have done before, which is added these little control panels over the cargo because it looks a bit tidier. I was a bit worried when I was first putting them down that the gaps around here would be more annoying than they are, but I think because this fits over the cargo panel so nicely, it kind of makes up for those gaps that I had covered with panels before. The other things I've done around here are I've added an ore detector, and I've added 2 emergency batteries, and I've put a few little decorations here in the actual cockpit side of things. So I just chucked a couple of little cargo containers down here. They're not really for any purpose other than aesthetics. They look kind of nice. And then these control panel, these access panels, just for a bit more decoration around the cockpit to make it look a bit more interesting, because I think it does. I'm not sure if I want to add any of those to the outside. I kind of like the cleaner look on the outside. I have added some spotlights down below here, and I've added some lights at the rear here, which I'll need to change the range on just so that those are all sorted. But once I've got a connection on the base, I think I'm pretty much ready to go. Oh, and I did add one more thing. Oh, can I see it anywhere? Am I gonna... You can see the light, well, not the light, the camera, just on the top there, in front of the central thruster on the top. So that should allow me to fly this, even if I have to remote into it. On the topic of parachutes, though, see, I'm not sure that's really something I want here anymore. Because, well, I don't really know where I'm going to put them. Other than jamming them in the center at the back, which means they're probably not going to be all that useful. So I think I'm going to just rely on my thrusters and hope for the best. We will see if that bites me in the backside. I really hope it doesn't. Just going to add a few controls to this little panel here. That's right, external vents was the other suggested idea. There we go, now all 3 buttons are lit up, so I can turn the vents on and off, and I can close and open the doors simultaneously. It's more just to have these buttons lit up really than anything else. There's another thing I'm going to do in here, which is, I think, really cool, and something I hadn't thought of doing, which is grabbing these internal vents, setting up actions on them, and what these vents are going to do is, when pressurized, we are going to set the color of the lights. And we'll go just a slightly off white, because I like that for interior spaces, it feels nice. Yeah, about there. Floral white. Huh. Weird. I wasn't expecting that to give that a name. Cool. Set to color. And then, when it's depressurized in here, I'm going to set these lights. Set color. Do something a little red. Okay. There we go. Now, it isn't technically depressurized in here because we are inside a hangar that is pressurized. However, the small grid doesn't know that. The small grid has no way of detecting that I'm also inside a pressurized hangar, which is why you get the depressurization effects, and it's now got the red glow in here. But as soon as I close the doors, it'll pressurize, and the lights should then change to white. Which is pretty cool. I often forget that you can do that sort of stuff with air vents so that you can have this sort of thing set up and have something a bit more dynamic with these builds, which I think is genuinely some of the best parts about using event controllers, is that you can make your builds feel more dynamic, feel more interactive. I love that Keen finally let us change the colors on lights with actions, because there's just so much potential there. And it's something that I need to remember to explore more, because there, as I said, is so much potential there. Alrighty, next thing to do is decide where I'm going to park this so that I can build a connector for it, because I'm going to need to get hydrogen on board. Now, let's just quickly check. Do I have hydrogen in my tanks? I'm pretty sure I do. Oh, yeah. I've got plenty of hydrogen. Cool. So let's go have a look at possible places I could put a connector for this. I'm thinking the easiest place to begin with is going to be up here. Replacing one of these connectors with a small one. particularly as I have kind of been planning to replace these guys. Do I replace this one just here with my shuttle? Because where else could I put it? I wonder if I could fit on the roof. No, it'll sit too high and I'll have to change the profile of the roof over there. This roof's covered in solar panels. That roof I'd have to change the whole profile of as well. I think ultimately I'd like to park it down at the aerodrome and give it its own little Quonset hut, but I don't really want to delay myself getting up to the launch air base in order to build that. So I'm just trying to think about where a quick yet not horrible, in case this parking spot ends up more permanent than I'd initially intended, place could be to go. I'm just trying to get a bit of a view down to the aerodrome to see if there's any spot that jumps out at me there. Oh yeah, it could park next to the Panini. I could make a little connector off there. Yeah, we'll do that. Right. Let's go grab it and we'll fly it down. All the little additions that I've made here are exactly why I love building the way that I have, where I try and build, where I try and build most of what I can to get something that looks pretty complete, but then add little finessing touches that you guys suggest in the comments. And it's, it just seems to work so well for me to elevate these builds beyond what they begin as. Like, the little cargo crates and the little bits and pieces around here, the details. It's really satisfying to get a build to this level. Now, spotlights. You guys can go out to a longer range because I've got that possible. There she is flying with the doors open. Because of course. I really like this little guy. It's got this unusual mix for me of cute yet still very functional. Now my batteries are not very charged. We're at 22%, so when I land, I'm going to need to set up the event controller so that I can set up... Yeah, I do have an event controller on here. Set up the event controller so that this will dock and I'll recharge and I'll refuel and all that sort of thing. In fact, I probably could for the moment change up one of the connectors in here for this to fit. It's probably... Oops. It's closer to the ground than I thought. It's probably a better idea. Just grind this sucker out, since these are going to go anyway when I replace my little combat craft, which is a thing that is going to happen. It's all a matter of priorities, and the priority right now is to get up to the launch air base so that I can get the materials I need so that I can actually start building the railway that is going to necessitate me replacing my little combat drones and building something better. And when we lock, lights have turned off, broadcast has turned off. That's the key one to me. Whenever something is docked, it should not be broadcasting. It should be just sat there. Lights off. Yep. I think it's pretty good. Then all my thrusters are off. We undock. And all the thrusters start spinning. Cool. Happy. Very happy with that. Oh, and my door's shut. Perfect. Okay, so I think, since my tanks have already filled, because stockpile was already on, we're pretty much ready to go. The thing still to do, add my thruster groups to the hopper, which includes... let's undock to make this less of a pain. The two big thrusters as a separate group. So these little batteries here, these ones need to be set to recharge, because they're my safety batteries. I'm not sure how useful they are now that I'm not putting parachutes on this, but if I change my mind and put parachutes on it, they'll be useful. And these two just need to get fully charged before we go, because I want to make sure that I'm fully charged before flight. So that'll be another 15 minutes. Cool. Let's have a look and see if there was something else around here. I feel like there's something I'm missing before I wanted to go. Oh. Yep. I know one of the things. Need to manufacture some more food. We need to pack some of this stuff in here. And I need to load up some bottles, just in case. It's their backup supply. They're not to be used unless I get desperate. I also need some cobalt to take up there. How much cobalt do I have? Oh yeah, I've got plenty. So I'll take some more cobalt up to the base. And was there anything else that I need to take up? Oh, that's another thing that I that I read in the comments that was suggested. It was part of the decorating the cockpit thing. Because this is obviously a very civilian-focused build. Like, there's not even a gun on it. There's nothing on this to defend itself. It's purely shuttle to go up and back. It was to add a plushie somewhere as decorative, like a decorative thing. I don't have any plushies. I can't do it. As much as I might like to add a little Sabroid next to the cockpit or sitting on top of one of these cargo containers, even though they won't fit because I've got the plate occupying that space. I still kind of like the idea. But yeah, I don't have one, so it's not an option. I'm still pretty happy with this cockpit though. This feels command module-esque enough. There's enough going on in here that I think it's really come together nicely, if I do say so myself. One of the really nice things about having to wait for the batteries to charge is that I can read the comments right now. Uh-oh. While I'm waiting for them to charge and add things like that docking camera. So I can do things like this. Oh. Yep, there we go. It's just kind of nice to have. Just kind of useful. Batteries are almost charged, so let's think just a little bit more before I head up there, since it is a bit of a pain getting up there and back, and it does cost a bit to do so. I'm hoping to go up there and fix the launcher. The launcher at the moment is stopped, probably because I've got a sorter misset, or I've got some timer blocks that aren't working because they used to be in a sequence that was just running indefinitely. And I kind of feel like even if I could fix it, I probably need to get up there anyway. One, to make the pods bigger so they're holding more iron, because we've now got a cargo container that should work well for that, being this one. The modular cargo container should work very nicely on these drop pods. The next thing is that I would much rather this be a system that I can trigger with, say, a broadcast controller. Not a broadcast controller, a action relay. Because if I can trigger this with an action relay from here and press a button down here that says launch, and then event controllers are used up there to control each step of the way so that it ensures that it can't launch unless it's in the ready state. Or even I have a broadcast controller up there that says, is it in a ready state? If it is. Things like that. I can set up a whole bunch of little automation things to make the ore drop pods a lot easier, especially with the volume of them that I'm likely going to need to go through. So all of that sort of stuff I think is going to be really useful. The other thing is checking out whether there's gold up there and if I can mine it. So the reason I thought to pack some cobalt is that's one thing the launch air base doesn't have, and that I do have down here on the planet. I don't really want to take magnesium up there, as I don't really plan to shoot anything. If I start getting shot at, my plan is to run. Run as fast as I can, away from the launch air base, hopefully dragging whatever enemy it is with me to crash on the planet, because it probably won't be able to survive that, whereas I hopefully will. My bottles are full, my belly is full, I've got extra food and water in here, I have full hydrogen tanks, I have full batteries. I hopefully have a ship that is capable of taking me up there. Now, what I need to do is press Control B and blueprint it. And hopefully remember to publish this to the workshop, as I had a few people ask me, and I think this is ready for the workshop. I don't often get builds that I feel like have made that straight away, but I think this is one of them. I think I can publish this one, and then people will find what I've missed and what else I haven't put on here. But now we are going up as fast as I can. And as soon as I start losing thrust with my... nuts. Poop. I've got to do something. Thrusters. Which hydrogen thrusters go down? I don't have them as a group, and I want to have them as a group. No, backwards. It's the backwards one. Back. Yeah, it'll be just those two. So we've got the large thrusters. Let's put this on the second hopper. We have decreased thrust override, increased thrust override, and we have reverse toggle on and off. Okay, now we want to go up as fast as I can. Hopefully I can get back to 100 meters a second before I leave Atmo. As I launch near the sun. I'm feeling not great about that possibility as I'm accelerating incredibly slowly. Well, we will find out soon if... Yeah, let's just switch. Hydrogen thrusters on. And then we go wee, and we go up. And we point straight pretty much at the launch air base. Turn off my reverse thrusters, start running on overrides for efficiency's sake. Oh. I've got the wrong thrusters, I think. Yep, I've got the wrong thrusters. Oh, this is going so poorly. I picked the little ones. Of course I picked the little ones. Well, at least my reverse ones are off, so I can... I can just do this launch manually, and once I get a bit higher up, I'll fix it. Just tap, tap, tap. Ooh. I really forgot how much fuel you burn through when you're in 1.9 G and trying to get to escape. Like, that's almost 10% of 2 large tanks. And I'm 10k, well, not even 10k's up yet. Oh. Oh dear. How many lifting hydrogen thrusters do I have? 2. Oh dear. I hope those 2 little thrusters that are pointing downward are enough for me to land horizontally, because I really don't want to land upright with this thing. I should have put more on. Oh yeah, radiation. I'm not just limited by the, by my food duration, I'm limited by rads. I thought if I'm in a pressurized space, though, the radiation should go up much more slowly. So as long as I stay in this ship or inside the base, I'm okay, but as long as I'm building, which is going to be most of the time, I am going to get a lot of radiation. I do wonder how much of a problem that's going to be. There we go. Fix the group. But I'm basically here anyway. 17% fuel used. It's less than 20%, so that's pretty good. Now, someone said that they'd seen some other asteroids on my way up here, but I'm not spotting any right now. Okay, let's come to a stop. There she is. My base with the most awkwardly placed solar panel and oxygen farm array that I possibly could have managed. Because it's right where you want to land the ship and fly it back out. Okay, it does look like I do have enough thrust, so at least those fears were unfounded. And there is gold up here. Yield modules! I can get yield modules! Yes! Oh, that's great. I was trying to think of what I really need from gold right now. And yield modules is kind of it. And I'm here. Let's see how quickly the rads go up. Alright, so what do we got around here? Let's go have a look at the drop pod as it is. My jetpack kind of works-ish. As I don't remember how the catwalks worked. I probably want to rebuild this whole mechanism, to be honest. Start from scratch. Focusing on using the event controllers rather than everything being timer block based, which it was. So the one that's switched off, if we go sorter. This one switched off is set to whitelist silicon. So if I instead remove that and change that to iron, I now go ODP and we go iron. I still can't transfer it across. So something else is blocking me. Oh right, the sorter's off. Okay, now I can fill. Cool. I mean, that's not really what I want right now, because I now need to bring that back. But that was all that was blocking me. from getting this. And it is nearly 27,000 in a medium cargo container. So a medium cargo container has 3,375, and how much is on the modular? The modular was 10, I think? Yeah. All right, let's turn that sorter off. And I'm going to try and grab all of those materials out. Because it was actually even less in each pod than I had imagined. Because this is a single medium cargo container. Just one. So it was only really holding 33,000. I think I calculated the 125 or 131 pods based off 60,000. I am nowhere near 60,000. Also, tank. So based on a mass of about 40,000, let's say 50, this has how many parachutes? 1, 2, 3, 4... So there's 7 on this. There's 14 oh man, I need a lot of parachutes. To make this bigger, I need a lot of parachutes. I'm also going to need to mess with the torque of this so that it can fling it far enough. Okay, there's going to be some tweaking to do. Event controller so that when it reaches a certain angle it releases. Because that should maybe be more accurate than my timer-based method of release after X number of seconds. Yeah, alright. Let's grind this sucker down. We'll make something new. Okay, merge blocks. Now, cargo container. I should be able to fit that there. And it can stick out beyond the end because as long as part of it falls within the welding range, it's fine. But, do I want it there? Or do I want to do this? Let's try this. Can I put that there? That gets welded, good. But then if I put this out here, and I know I might be pushing my luck here, but can I have that and a second? Because if I can make this cannon fire this, the dual cargoes, that's going to be how much more than I had before? So we had 3,375 before, plus 1152, which is what? You know, let's just call it 4,500. This will be 20,000 liters. So it'll be 4 times as much, which puts us at about 120,000 kilograms of iron per pod. So these pods are going to weigh an awful lot. I am down to my last hydrogen bottle. Dang it. Really quick to burn through those. Nuts. Alright.
Energy
keep that in mind.
low.
But that should be a more than adequate amount to get per pod. The next challenge will be adding enough counterbalance to Manny so that Manny can actually carry this much. Because that's a lot. That's a lot of mass to drag back and go up some of those slopes. I think Manny might be needing to get an extra pair of wheels and possibly a whole lot of extra mass to counterbalance because 4 5x5s is probably not going to be enough. But that's a problem to deal with once it's down there. I feel like this is what I've got to do because I need to be able to have probably 100,000 iron per trip to make this worthwhile. Because that's still going to be for my 2 million that I've currently got up here. That's still going to be 20 trips. That's still a lot. That still takes a long time to do. And I think realistically, having to do 80 of them for the 8 million is probably as much as I can push myself to do. Oh yeah, the rad level is lower inside. There we go. Now they can depressurize properly. Rad level 99 out here and it's 60 inside, so it is substantially reduced in a pressurized environment. If I don't want to carry that many, or if I don't want to try and move something this big, I unfortunately would need to move more of them, but if I can move more of them more quickly, then I can move one that's this heavy. Maybe that's beneficial overall. I think I'm going to need to add a little access port for my hydrogen tanks. Have somewhere that's like cut out one of these so that I can put the bottles in. There we go. Like this. Control panel. Auto refill. Why isn't the bottle refilling from the hydrogen tank? That's really strange. That should be working. That doesn't seem right. There we go. Turn the whole thing off and on again, and it's fixed. The ever-present, ever-effective solution. I'm going to go with the heaviest pod, because if I can make this work, then it saves me trips, and that's going to be better. But heavy pod means, holy cow, so many parachutes are needed. I think I'm going to need to make them quite compact, which means basically putting these small conveyors along as far as those welders can reach. How many does that give me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is going to give me 40 parachutes. Now, if I wanted this to just land as softly as my other one, that means I still need more. This isn't enough. So if I also put a row all the way along the top, that will then give me 60. And that should be enough. It does mean it's going to land on that back bottom corner, which I have no means to actually protect because the welders don't go that far. Unless I extend my welder array out, which I probably could. In fact, I probably should. Added the welders to the safety area so that I'm not going to kill myself with these new welders. And I've added all the parachutes. So now I have 15 on each side. And I had 14 on the previous one, which means I have more parachutes than I had before. I have all of those 32 that are on top, they are bonus. Because I had 14 before, I've got 15 on each. I've got more than 4 times. Basically, you got 6 times what I had before with 4 times the mass. Now, that's a good thing because on the previous pod design, I was actually getting them damaged as they landed, which was not ideal for obvious reasons. And so, with that, having much more parachutes, hopefully they won't take damage. So, where to put the batteries? I think on top makes a lot of sense. I place them there, and then I get a beacon. Actually, I'll use an antenna because I need to be able to connect to this later. Because I'm going to want to watch this on its way down to zero in the drop site. I'm going to use a parabolic antenna because I think it'll look nicer on there. There we go. Let them get welded as I jump. So we've got ODP2 broadcasting. That's good. Next up is... do I want to have landing gear on this one? I probably should, as I think one of the reasons I added it on the previous one was so that if they landed somewhere a little bit awkward, they would hopefully not roll too far. So I kind of guess I do need that. I am at 67 rads. I don't have much longer I can stay up here. I'm going to have to head back soon. So I'm not sure I'm even going to get this pod finished before I have to go back down and come back up. Kind of tells me I could have designed this on planet if I'd actually been organized, but oh well. So next thing to do is actually remove these, because I'm going to use a small connector, because lining this big connector up to that is not going to work, which is entirely my own doing because I didn't think about how I was actually rearranging stuff. Oh well, that will be fine. Oh, gravel? Why am I saving gravel? A conveyor converter. And a conveyor converter. And just a little connector. Do I have enough blocks for this? If I go junction, then curves, then... oh, I don't have enough blocks for that. Nuts. Okay. Alright, we're going to do this differently. This is going to be a reinforced curved, because I want to have multiple sorters here. So instead of having to change the blacklists and whitelists or anything like that, if I want to send down different materials, I'm just going to turn on and off different sorters. If I want to add extra materials to be sorted through, I can do that either down the sides or I can do an extra layer on top. That's fine. At the moment, the materials that I'm thinking of adding here are silicon. Wait, no. Just gold, iron, and canvas. Hopefully I get enough gold that's it's worth sending down in these. So that's going to be another trip up here, is setting up the gold mine. Because I need to have a gold mine set up. Okay, I do not have time to test this, so I'm heading back down to the planet, and we'll head back down, come back up, finish off a few more of the bits and pieces up here before I start dying, because I don't know when that happens and I don't want to find out. At least, not this way. So away we go. We've got the ODP2 kind of getting ready, but I'm going to have to finish it when my rads have cleared and I can come back up for another trip. I'm not too worried about this radiation thing and trying to figure out other ways to deal with it. I think there are some other ways to deal with it, like getting iodine tablets or something, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm happy to just... This is going to time limit me up there for the moment. The reason for that is, as soon as Keen have their food system, I'm going to swap over to theirs. And at that point, hopefully, I'll have come up with a new threat for space. Or maybe Keen will add something that'll work on that front. But we'll deal with that then. For the moment, we'll just say the radiation's just going to limit me, and it's fine. I am now in that slightly anxious time where I am hoping that my Atmo thrusters are adequate to come down to the planet and stop me from dying. Alright, 5 kilometers up. Should start getting Atmo soon. Let's level off. And still not slowing down. 3.4. 3. Still not slowing down. Uh-oh. I may have overcharged. I may have misjudged. 2 kilometers. And we are barely slowing down. Okay, we have to use the hydrogen thrusters on landing. That is good to know. Oh boy. I do not think that was gonna... I don't think the Atmo thrusters were gonna be capable there. Like, I genuinely feel like that was... I was facing my doom. Okay. Well, we're back. My rads have almost already cleared. So it's super quick. At least it means I basically just have to pop down and pop back. Which is going to cost me hydrogen, mainly. Good thing I'm building a railway to get myself a whole lot more of it. Now, how quickly does this accelerate upwards? I guess if I can reach 100 meters a second before I hit the atmospheric ceiling, then I should be able to stop myself from 100 meters a second, right? So it should have been able to capture me. I just panicked. But I think panicking by turning on more thrusters is probably not the worst kind of panicking. Or being overly cautious is probably a better way to put it, because I wasn't really panicked. Docked up. Rads are almost gone. Forgot to take the cobalt out and put it in the base. Should take some food up there this time though. And some water. Since I'm back down here, I figured I might as well have a look at what options I have for blocks that will properly cover this, yet, well, sort of properly cover this, but still give me access to the hydrogen tank so I can fill up my bottles while up there. And maybe the scaffold blocks a good option. It kind of looks tidy there, but also I wonder if this is going to be a tidier option. I think it might be. Yeah. Gives me access to the tank so I can fill up bottles when I'm up there. In fact, I could probably even try and transfer some of my fuel to the launch air base when I go up there on each of these trips. Because while I'm making lots of trips back and forth, that kind of feels like a good time to do that. Nice. Alright, well, fill up some more food, some more water, and get my oxygen filled up, and I will return up there. Let's see how much more efficiently I can get up and back this time. Or at least up. Because this time I should have all the controls I need set up. And I should be able to just go straight up. Do I reach 100 meters a second? And at what altitude do I reach it? Okay, just shy of a kilometer up, I reach 100 meters a second. So... yeah... Look, I think I'm still possibly going to need to use... There we go, I'm slowing down. The hydrogen thrusters to do this. Do the return flight anyway. Now, I believe there are scripts that you can use to do, like, this sort of thing, where you control your speed properly, but I've never actually looked into any of them. And it's The planet space transition is something I've never done often enough to be like, oh, I should really make that better. Because this has always been kind of good enough. I'm trying to not let myself get distracted by all the other potential tasks that I have to do around here. Things such as moving that drill and getting it operational, that sort of stuff, until I've got these drop pods working. Because the drop pods working is kind of the highest priority. Because that's what services getting the railway actually started and properly built, which is really important to me. I really want to get that started properly. Alright, we are here. Now we're going to get some rads. And hopefully get this pod finished before they build up too high. I'm glad I built stairs and catwalks all around here, even though I don't strictly need them with the jetpack. Because, wow, the jetpack does not last for very long. So the other things that this needs on it, it's going to need some bright lights so that it can be found more easily. And I think that might actually be some of these guys. That might be the way to go. I like turning the rotation speed down, largely because otherwise they kind of end up flickering a lot. And that's not so nice to look at for a lot of people, so I try to avoid it. But even at that really low speed, there's still that motion that helps you spot something and helps you identify it. And I now need a control panel on there so that I can access it and turn all these parachutes to the correct settings. 92 parachute hatches. Oh man, that's a lot. Auto deploy. So auto deploy, height, let's take this up to 1500 meters. And that's all. Now inventory, have these chutes haven't already grabbed stuff, but they should be able to once I set up those sorters. I believe the parachutes should pull canvas themselves. So what I might do is start naming these sorters. So we'll go ODP launcher sorter canvas, and I'll name them each like this. So each one will be set up as a whitelist, or just the items I want. So let's just check I got that all correct. Gold, canvas, iron. So we'll turn the iron off, we'll turn the gold off, we'll leave the canvas on. The gold and the iron ones need to be set to drain all, because they're going to try and fill everything downstream of them. The canvas one, on the other hand, is not set to that, because I want the parachutes to pull the canvas for themselves. So now if I switch lock these, we should end up... We got some canvas? We do. With parachutes filling nice and quickly. Yep, they're all full. How much canvas am I making? Let's check my auto crafting. Canvas. Why is it saying... Oh man, okay, I think I'm gonna have to update Izzy's. Make sure I've got plenty of canvas always made. Cool, that means I've always got enough for at least 2 launches. And the launches shouldn't be happening so quickly that the assembler can't keep up with that. Took a little bit of fiddling because I think some of the older settings I had with my older version of Izzy's when I just replaced it then might have been messing with the newer version. But it's all fixed now, which is good. Alright, what else do we need on this pod? We need to have a remote control so I can control it and have a look through it, which means I also will want to have a gyroscope on it. I'm probably going to always have these on there, even though I don't strictly need them after the first test launches, but I think it's kind of nice to have them just in case. So I can now control this thing, I can look through the camera of it, I can watch it go down. What I need to do next is to set up something that indicates when it is full. So what I'm thinking I need for that is an event controller detecting when the cargo containers are full. I can't put the event controller on the base because then the assignment to those cargo containers will be lost once I print off the next one. So I think the only way to get it to stay attached is to have the event controller on the drop pod itself. I believe that should work, so we'll find out if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that should work because the assignment will be kept in the blueprint. So we can add an event controller there, and then we go event controller. This will be ODP, event controller, inventory, full. So cargo filled percentage equal or greater than 99%. On. Now, sorters should push to the furthest one last, I think. I think the order it fills will be this closest one, then this one. So the original one should be the container that I watch. So modular cargo container, add blocks. Now, what action do I want this to do? I want this to disconnect that connector. Because I think I want the detachment to be done via the merge block rather than via the connector. Because the connector connection is a bit weaker, so flinging it at massive acceleration, as I do to try and get the distance I need with this thing, will end up with that being probably tested. So it'll be much better to stay as a merge block and then detach the merge block and off it goes. This connector also needs to have no strength, because I do not want it creating issues. ODP connector, so when the event triggers, which is full, it will unlock. If it's less, it will lock. Oh, I know what to do. It doesn't need to just unlock this when it's full, it also needs to turn it off. Because if it turns that block off, it means I can have this timer block here, which is, what's it called? Launch Air Catapult TB connector. Launch Air Catapult connector. So this timer block can repeatedly trigger that connector to lock, because it doesn't matter if it's trying to lock once the thing's full, because the other connector will be switched off. And that should prevent any issues from occurring. So we'll have an automatic disconnect of the connector once it's full. We're automatically going to fill with iron if I turn this sorter on. So we can turn this on and see if this works. It's a bit of a slow fill with that tiny little sorter, which is a problem. But I was correct about which container was going to fill first. I might need to double or triple up on this. But again, I don't need this to fling super quickly, so I can just hurry this at the moment. Let's chuck that across, and we'll chuck that across, and it's disconnected and switched off. Excellent. And more iron than I thought, 150,000. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. Now, the next bit is another event controller. This event controller is going to be detecting when this hinge reaches the desired angle. What is the limit on this angle? Lower limit is 30. So the desired angle will be, say, I'm going to guess 10 degrees. When it reaches that angle, it needs to turn off this merge block. The one that's holding the drop pod in place. So we go rotor hinge angle equal to or less than, we'll go 10 degrees so that it hopefully gets a little bit of an upwards trajectory. And we should have catapult hinge, add blocks. Then merge block. When it triggers, toggle block off. And when it resets below, toggle block on. I think I'm nearly there. We just have to do the angle testing. And hope that these pods don't end up somewhere horrible for the first launches that are basically unrecoverable. Because I need to test this fully loaded, so I can't just send down an empty one and be like, oh, well, we'll see where this one goes. But I think I'm reasonably aligned with the valley anyway, so that short or long, it's unusual for it to end up in the mountains. But if it does, I will have to figure out how to get that iron back. Because so much is being sent down. Now, do I want to set up a broadcast for when the container is full? I'm not sure that I do just yet. I think it's going to take long enough between launches that I shouldn't really need to, so I'm just going to leave it. What I do need to do is turn this back on, let those get locked, and then I need to turn off this merge block and blueprint this thing. So this is now a separate grid. ODP Mark II. Oh, I'll just go ODP2. ODP2. Control, Shift, B. So I just get that subgrid. Now we can turn that merge block back on. Let that remerge. Disconnect this connector. Grab the projector. No! Turn all these welders off. Sensor. And the sensor off so they don't turn back on, because I've just welded up a whole bunch of random stuff on this. I think I've reached the moment of truth? Maybe. I'm really nervous about this. It's a lot of iron to throw away. Alright. So the main things that could go wrong here are the catapult could explode the whole thing because the merge block might detach too early or too late, so that there's a lot of force between the hinge arm and the thing on there. The hinge arm might not be strong enough with its current torque to actually fling the whole thing. I'm tempted to max out the torque on this one, because that is a very heavy thing on a very long lever arm. But yeah, alright, let's put myself in a safe position where I can connect two things, so I'll go inside. No, wait, I need to watch this from outside. Okay, let's just make sure I've got power and oxygen. And I'll stand outside. I need to stand outside because I want to watch what the arm does. And that's... Oh, no, I can do that from third person in here. That's okay. Yeah. Alright. Here goes. Okay. And everything... Yep. I think we're good. 3, 2, 1... Reverse. It's launched. It's launched. ODP. Getting control. View the camera. I can rotate around and we can watch. Oh. She's heavy. Has not gotten much distance. That was a very slow flinging that time, so I'm a bit concerned about where I'm going to end up with this. Also, my rads are going up considerably, so I don't think I'm going to be able to stay up here while I wait for this to get down there. I'm going to have to switch over to the... Yeah, I'm going to have to follow the drop pod down. Okay, let's do it. Let's follow it down, see if I can watch it from the camera in here. Let's catch up to it as best we can. Can I see anything with my camera? Probably not, because it's 6Ks out. Alright, I've just got to get inside the gravity well enough that my rads start going down. And then I can remote into that and hover, and hopefully the fuel will be okay. The DP is... What's its altitude? 20 kilometers up still. Okay. Oh. I lost my connection for a second for some reason. What are my rads at? 74. Rad level is 59. Should start clearing soon, I think. Nitrogen thrusters off. Dampeners on. Get myself nice and horizontal. Go back into the... Oh. What? Antenna's not long enough. That's the problem. Where am I ending up? I cannot tell. Alright, so my chutes are going to deploy at 1500 meters, hopefully. I'm wondering if I should set that higher because I'm in the mountains. Let's just quickly re-blueprint this. Nope, it's the pufferfish. Dang it. I was going to re-blueprint it with the, the remote control actually set up properly. It's so weird how quiet it is. Pufferfish 5.87 Ks above. My rads are at 75. My food's dropping. Rad level is dropping. Yes. Okay. Came down quick. Soon enough. 4 kilometers up. 3. Shoot. Just in case they don't open. 2 kilometers. Come on, 1500 meters. Pop shoots, pop shoots, pop shoots. Shoots are popped. Holy cow, that's a lot of parachutes. Is it enough? 10 meters per second. Alright, we need to hop out of control of that, because I'm back in near Atmo with this one. We should be able to catch up to that pod, which is landing remarkably near home. I think the drops might almost be good already. I can see it down there. I'm ready to turn my hydrogen on. I'm going to leave it a little bit longer this time before I panic turn the hydrogen thrusters on, because I was able to slow down very quickly with the hydrogen. 98, 97. We can see the massive ton of parachutes over there. Nope. That's a hard nope. Yeah, I don't think my Atmo thrusters can actually stop me. On their own, at least. Cool. Well, I beat the pod down. Let's go see where it lands. And hope that I can witness a flawless landing of it not taking any damage at all. Like, if that's where they're going to drop, I'm pretty happy with that. I don't think I need to adjust anything. I think I've nailed it. Like, obviously, it'd be ideal if I could get, like, perfect drops that land exactly in the same spot, where they, every single time, land into, like, a grinder pit. But to do that, I think you'd basically have to go with a drone, and that would require me constantly sending Cobalt up there to rebuild thrusters on the drones, and the whole thing gets a lot more complicated and a lot less manageable as a result. So many parachutes. Oh, wow. It looks so silly. But he's dropping really flat. Oh, I didn't see an explosion. I also didn't put a landing gear on it. Whoops. Chutes seem to have undeployed. Looks like we've got a soft touchdown. It looks good. Oh, it looks good! Yes! That is so much iron. I have no means to transport that just now. But it's good. Yes! Oh, I'm so happy. I do wonder if I, like, cut this in half with my grinder, whether Manny would be able to pick up each piece. Oh, that's so good. I'm so happy this worked. So that means next time I get to build a better forklift to be able to carry this whole thing. And alongside building the forklift, I can do some upgrades on the launch air base, now that I can fly there and back really easily. Because I'll be able to do stuff like mining some of the gold up there, setting it up to mine even more iron, because 2 million is not going to be enough. But it should, with a couple of these pods delivered, it should mean that I can build some track and actually get that done. We'll see whether that happens next week or the week after. So that's all that, plenty more to come, and I will see you then.